This episode of The Young Turks is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook at audiblepodcast.com/TYT. Go. So, you know one of the things that ICE is launching an investigation on? Criminal investigation into Acorn. Acorn doesn't exist anymore. Acorn, all these myths and nonsense about how Acorn stole elections, there was not a single voter fraud case against Acorn. Acorn is the one that turned in the people who were the lazy guys who said, oh yeah, I filled out a registration for Mickey Mouse or whoever, Tony Romo in Las Vegas. Acorn caught those guys and turned them in. They never proved a single thing against Acorn. They launched the investigations, local investigations, etc. And in Brooklyn and in California, and prosecutors came out and said, these doctored tapes, this is garbage. Now, despite that, Obama and the Democrats pulled the leg out from Acorn anyway, and when the Republicans went to defund them, they killed that organization that's been around for decades helping the poor. Whether it was registering them to vote, whether it was helping them if they were getting rooked by credit card industry or mortgage industry, or if somebody was charging them too much rent, or helping them with health care, that organization is wiped off the face of the board and off the earth because the Democrats participated in their destruction. But it's still not enough. ISA wants now to go back to that dead organization and beat that dead horse again, and demanding that Eric Holder start a criminal investigation of them, otherwise he should step aside. But Obama didn't want to look backward, he wanted to look forward, because I bet the Republicans would return the favor. Now, Darrell Issa is a guy who claims to be in favor of investigations. Oh no, government oversight, very important. We want to make sure that American taxpayer money is not being wasted, right? Funny thing, I mentioned this on yesterday's show, now I have the exact quote for you guys. When the Bush administration was wasting your money, he loved it. And he said, how dare you look into it? In 2007, when they were having hearings on $12 billion that we lost in Iraq, it vanished. Then our administrators in Iraq came and said, how can we do accounting in Iraq? It's too hard. Oh, I don't know. Who can keep up? It's a third world country. It's a country you were running at the time. And so when they were looking into that, here's what ISA said. Get a load of this. Quote, I might also, for the committee, put into perspective what $12 billion is. It certainly seems like a lot of money when you put it in $100 bills and put it on forklifts and put it into a C-130s. But I think when you look at a country of more than 15 million people and a period of 15 months, you're really talking about just $600 per person per year. I think when the American people look at the volume of human beings that were without an economy as a result of the toppling of Saddam, I think they will more accurately look at less than 1,000 per man, woman, and child in that region would certainly be considered to be a measured amount to be spent. Let me pause there for a second. That money was not spent, it was lost. It was stolen, okay? And he's saying, what? In that period of time, it was less than $1,000 for every man, woman, and child in Iraq every year. I said, what? That's a perfect way for the government to waste your $12 billion. He continues, no doubt there is fraud, abuse, and waste. No doubt money ended up in somebody's pocket. But I might note for all of us that we looked over Katrina done in our own country, within our own boundaries, under a system that we all see used time and time again. We were giving $2,000 debit cards that ended up buying color TVs at Kmart. Pause again. So he's saying, oh, no, don't judge us for the $12 billion we lost in Iraq. Look at how badly we screwed up Katrina, also under Bush. So he's like, no, Bush is incompetent here as well as in Iraq, so you should give him a bye. And finally he ends by saying, although I certainly look forward to the testimony, and I have no doubt there's been some waste, I also hope that we put this in perspective. That's the guy who claims to be in favor of government oversight and reform. When Bush was in charge, he was saying, 12 billion, who gives a damn? So it got stolen and robbed. So what? Taxpayer money, who cares? We waste it all the time like we did in Katrina. Now with Obama, he's like, oh my God, I need investigations. He started 75 investigations so far. They just got in, like yesterday. These are not honest actors, Darrell Issa. could not be more bought by corporate interests. He could not be more of a dishonest actor. And you know what's going to happen over the next 2 years? I guarantee you. You watch exactly how this unfolds. As he launches investigation after investigation, people will forget that Obama never investigated a damn thing, that he did unilateral disarmament, and people will assume that Bush was perfectly fine because the Democrats never really effectively investigated him. And they will say about Obama after these investigations get going, yeah, I don't know, there's so many charges against him. You know, where there's smoke, there's fire. And then they'll find little things. They'll say, oh, there was a little bit of abuse. That guy wasted a nickel, and that guy went to In-N-Out, and he shouldn't have done that, and he was working at the Department of Commerce at the time. And then people say, oh, you know what, getting the burgers, I don't know. And then they'll say, oh, Obama's such a polarizing figure. And there's so many charges. What can we do? No, Obama must be a bad guy. And that is how it will unfold over the next 2 years. Leading me again to the conclusion that either Obama just does not understand politics at all, not one scintilla, or he's part of this entire operation, part of the machinery, and he doesn't even mind if he gets chewed up in the machinery, as long as the guys who are paying ISA and paying him, etc., all keep going. By the way, you know the famed donors of Barack Obama? Oh, he collected money from small donors. My bad that I didn't know this until today. You know what percentage of his money was raised from small donors in the 2008 election? 28%. 72% came from very large donors. And that was an unprecedentedly large percentage of small donors. So the best you could hope for was 28%. Now, who do you think Obama was working for? The 72% of the large donors or the 28% of the small donors? Look, at this point, he's working against himself. It's going to be a disaster over the next 2 years. Audible.com is the leading provider of audiobooks.
In fact, they have over 75,000 titles.
And you can listen on your iPod or your MP3 player. You can listen to it anywhere at any time. It's incredibly convenient.
And they have books in every single genre imaginable. You can get a free audiobook if you go to audiblepodcast.com/TYT.
Totally true.